Oh, hey everybody. Didn't see you there. I was busy reading the Big Book of Brew. Rule number 172. Yes, this is a pumpkin spice review. And rule number 72 is the rule of recipes. Allow me to read this to you. Depending on the applause of others is a recipe for disappointment. Work for a cause, not for applause. That is rule number 172 from the Big Book of Brew, which is available wherever books are sold, but mostly just at coachbrew.com. I'll put a link in the comments. So, the rule of recipes seems particularly relevant because I was just at Dunkin' picking up my morning coffee, and yesterday I did a review of the Dunkin' Pumpkin Spice Munchkin. Well, today I'm doing a review of the Dunkin' Pumpkin Spice Muffin. And I had a little conversation at the store with the general manager. He said, just a heads up, John, there's no streusel topping, like the brown sugar and crumbs and stuff on the top of the muffins anymore. And I said, yeah, it tastes like they changed the recipe on the Munchkins too. He said, yeah, everyone's complaining about it. And he attributed it to supply chain issues, which is amazing to me. And here's kind of the takeaway, that we're how many years post-COVID, post-lockdown, and people are using supply chain as an excuse. If you're in business and you're using the supply chain as an excuse, stop. Just stop right now. You cannot, and this is a tangent, but you cannot afford to only have one option, one source for, in this case, like pumpkin flavored dough or pumpkin flour or whatever materials and chemicals they make this stuff with, and the streusel topping. There's an old saying in the Navy SEAL community and the military in general, I believe, as well. 1 is none, 2 is 1, 3 is 2. And what they mean by that is, let's say you have one firearm with you and it gets wet or it jams and you need to use your gun, you essentially have 0 firearms. 1 is none. You want to have, in that case, a second. You want to have a backup because now 2 is 1. The second one might work. So you want to have a plan, you want to have a backup, you want to be ready and able to execute both at any given moment. And how does that relate to pumpkin and pumpkin spice? You got to have more than one source for your goods and materials today, and not blame the supply chain. That's a load of crap. I'm sorry. Could the supply chain be an issue when it comes to like microchips for catalytic converters in vehicles today? Yes, because there's like one factory in Japan that burned down that made them and it's still an issue. I get that. But for pumpkin flavoring and streusel for the top of a muffin, please. All right, here we go. Here's the review. Yep. They're using the same lousy ingredients for the muffin as they are for the donut. You can see it's like bright orange. Orange dye number 5. I'm sure it's very healthy for you. The muffin's a little better than the donut or the munchkin, but it's overwhelmingly spicy. Like, think like snorting lines of nutmeg off of a mirror with a $100 rolled up $100 bill. It is so overwhelming. I would go 4.6 on this at best, but the lesson is the law of the recipe from the Big Book of Brew, number 172. Depending on the applause of others is a recipe for disappointment. Remember that. And remember, You got to have more than one source for anything you're doing. Otherwise, that's a recipe for destruction and disappointment.